Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
And just like that, it's Tuesday.
Bilis, ano? Tomorrow
Bilis, oo.
is Chinese New Year.
Ay, oo.
Pero before that, kasi later on, we'll see kung ano yung mga areas kung saan mga nagpe-prepare ng Chinese New Year.
Sa Binondo area,
we'll talk to one
Chinatown.
of our modules there.
Oo.
Pero before that, of course, we have a lot of things to discuss. Budget, yung teenage pregnancy, anti-teenage pregnancy bill, and a lot more.
Hey, we're serving you news. We're serving you today's headlines.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch. So, ayun nga, no? Yung mga, of course, yung ano pa ba yung mga pag-uusapan natin aside from those that I've mentioned? Maharlika Investment
Maharlika
Fund.
Investment Fund that they took a 20% stake sa NG's National Grid Corporation of the
Yes.
Philippines. So,
Tapos,
very
of
first
course,
investment nila.
Yes. Mamaya, isa-isahin natin yan. And of course, we have also yung mainit na pinag-uusapan, yung budget. Diba? Yung
Yes,
mga
budget.
blanco sa budget.
Let's move on to the news. Marikina 2nd District Representative Stella Kimbo addressed allegations of irregularities in the approved 2025 national budget.
Now, here's the report.
Acting House Appropriations Committee Chairperson Representative Stella Kimbo acknowledged the presence of blank items in the bicameral conference committee report. However, she clarified that these were corrected by technical staff following the authorization from the committee.
But we do acknowledge po that there are blanks na po doon sa BICAM report na pinirmahan ng BICAM and ni-ratify ng Senado.
Yeah, so notwithstanding any typographical errors or any adjustments that are needed as a result of amendments, ay authorized naman po ang technical staff ng both House and Senate.
She asserted the 2025 national budget is lawful, valid, and enforceable.
It is legal, it is fully enforceable, it is valid. Ibig sabihin po, ang General Appropriations Bill na nanggaling po sa Congress ay kompleto. Walang blank.
Kimbo also emphasized that all corrections or changes made by the technical staff were approved by the members of the bicameral committee.
Ibig sabihin, calculator activity na lang po. So, lahat po, wala na po silang discretion dahil lahat po ay decided na po by the BICAM members at the point of signing.
The lawmaker also stated that in case of discrepancies between the amounts in the bicameral version and the printed version, the latter will always prevail.
There is another omnibus provision doon sa BICAM na in case na magkaiba po ang version ng printed at saka ng BICAM report, ang magpe-prevail po is the printed version.
Meanwhile, former Senate President Tito Soto weighed in on the issue. In a post on X, Soto suggested that some lawmakers may need to undergo a parliamentary rules and procedures workshop. He argued that ministerial corrections by the technical staff are not allowed in any bill and insisted that such changes should be brought back to the plenary. For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
Bagong term yun, calculator activity for ministerial corrections.
Yung mga corrections naman na ginawa nila ng technical group ay approved by the bicameral committee.
Pero kasi ang sinisilip nila dyan is yung mga iba't ibang, like for example sa Department of Agriculture, meron dun kasi na nakablanko dun, tapos biglang nung pagdating kay Presidente, meron ng amount. So ang pinaka-problema lang nila dyan is kung sino yung nag-fill in the blanks at papaano nila na-determine yung amount of that for that provision.
Usually,
yun yung sinasabi nila na dapat daw gawing transparent kasi hindi naman basa-basa na po pwede kung sino-sino lang dahil ang alam nila ito yung in-approve nila then all of a sudden may
I remember there was a senator who said that they do this practice. It's acceptable daw but it's not encouraged. Yung ganun nga yun. For example, let's move on muna. Nag-stalemate tayo sa diskusyon. Iwan natin tong blanco tapos balikan natin. Tapos pag papadala nila sa technical committee, habang dinadraft ng technical committee, biglang nagka-decision daw yung bicameral committee on that blank budgeting. Tapos nagpag-usapan nila, tapos they relayed the message sa technical committee, pakipasok nyo na lang itong amount sa, kunyari, sa agriculture, tapos ipapasok. Tapos, yun ang pipirmahan nila yung final draft. They've done that daw before. Ang problema, hindi daw nasasama sa debate. Parang the technical committee will just have to take the word of the bicameral, yung mga bicameral members na napag-usapan nila at approve daw nila yon.
Oo. So, ito yung sinasabi ko. So, kunyari daw, for instance, the BICAM report said that yung provision ng small-scale irrigation sa Department of Agriculture ay nakalagay ay 1.4 million. Diba? To be replaced with blank. Yun ang nakalagay. Tapos, pagdating kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, yung nakalagay na yun na blank, nilagyan na ng amount na 1 million.
Oo nga.
1 billion rather. So, yun yung sinasabi nila na, and other, other programs pa sa agriculture, may seed buffer stocking, National Fisheries Program, at sinasabi nila dito kasi, Sino yung kailan nilagay, sino, at papaano didetermine. So, ang hinihingi lang naman ng tao ngayon, of course, is yung transparency.
As I said nga,
kaya sinasabi nila, at the end of the day, this would be a bad precedent sa mga susunod na mga budget deliberation. So, ang sinasabi nila, what else can we do para maiwasan to? Diba? Hindi na to mangyari
ito yung tinatawag nilang gray area of budgeting. As I said nga kanina, there was a senator, I don't remember who said na this was an acceptable practice but not encouraged. In other words, it's not the best way to do things.
O kaya nga ngayon pinag-uusapan.
That's why I'm telling you, let me muna explain to you what yung alam ko. Hindi ko sinasabi, agree ako Sinasabi ko lang kung ano yung sinabi nitong senador. So technically nga, pag naiipit ang diskusyon sa budget at alam nilang kakapusin na sa oras at hindi matatapos on time, imbis na mag-reenact, meron silang agreement na let's bypass, kunyari, agriculture. Let's bypass agriculture, tapusin natin yung budget, leave it blank or maglagay ka ng temporary figure. Lagay muna natin 1.4. And then at the end of the budget deliberation, ipapasa muna sa technical group kasi pag dinadraft naman yan, pagdating nyo sa page 10, pagdating nyo sa agriculture, bago nyo i-print yan, balikan nyo muna kami. So, ang mangyayari, the technical group will go back to the bicameral committee and say, meron na ba kayong final amount sa agriculture? Then the bicameral committee will say, 1.4 million. Tapos, in good faith, tatanggapin nito ng technical group and they will print it out and send it to the for signature in the president.
Well,
so that is what is happening. That is a practice. It is not the best. It's not something we agree upon kasi ang daming areas na pwede magsingit.
Pwede magsingit.
But it is allowed in gray areas kasi.
Kaya nga sinasabi nila Senator Ping Lacson tsaka nila Tito Soto, actually it's not allowed. Dapat hindi mo ginagawa yun. Kaya ang sinasabi nila dapat sa susunod na mga BICAM conference, and even other people or experts are also saying na dapat daw hindi na to closed door meeting para may transparency na nangyayari. And also Senator Ping Lacson said dapat daw ibangga yung side by side yung BICAM at saka enrolled bill para makita kung ano yung diferensya. Kasi sinasabi ng mga yung committee chair like si Senator Grispo at saka si Zaldico, wala naman daw wala daw blank pages na pinirmahan doon, which is sinasabi nga natin yung dumating sa Pangulo, kaya sinasabi ni Pangulo hindi po pwede yun, dumating sa kanya yung GAA, talagang wala ng blankong report yon. So kaya ang sinasabi nila, importante dito, malaman natin sino, paano, at bakit.
At saka at the end of the day, kahit gaano ka daming irregularities pa ang yung BICAM report na yun that leads to the GAA, the President, you have to remember, his group is the one that proposes the budget in the first place.
Yes.
At pag mawabalik sa Presidente yan, yung grupo na nag-propose, which is the Executive Department and the Department Heads, will check out yung GAA bago niya pirmahan and they will make notes to the President and say, teka lang, yung pinag-usapan na ito, hindi ito
kaya
yan.
nga nagkaroon ng problema, di ba, doon sa health sector tsaka sa education dahil hindi naman yun yung nasa national expenditure ng Pangulo.
So that's why nga kung may problema, the Executive Department is the one that should they can veto it and then call the attention of the bicameral committee and say, teka lang, may irregularity kayo. Because at the end of the day, these three departments, you have the judicial, you have the legislative and executive, all have checks and balances for each other. And the executive has the power to correct from the legislative kung may problema. Oy, teka lang, time out. Parang mali ata ito, di ba?
Ang problema kasi hindi ma-check ng executive yun dahil lahat niya yun, lahat yun field na.
I understand, but what I'm trying to point
ang
out...
Ang pinag-uusapan nila dito is the BICAM report which has empty blank.
This is what I'm trying to point out. Okay, the executive proposes 1.4 billion for agriculture. Tapos sasabihin ng legislative or bicameral committee yung gumagawa ng budget. Hindi namin kaya 1.4 billion, President Marcos. We are going to put down 800 million. So the President has already heard from the bicameral, 800 million ang bibigay sa atin. Papadala mo ang GAA, biglang 1 billion. Teka lang, sabi nyo 800, ba't naging 1 billion? Sino nag-entry ng 1 billion? Doon pa lang, meron ng opportunity ang executive department to correct that budget and call the attention of those who drafted it. May irregularity kayo. Because what we talked about was this. Ito pinapose nyo, tinanggap ko, pinadala nyo sa akin, iba. Sa nagkatalo. Yun ang power ng executive.
Well, yung inaano nila talaga is sino, paano na ginawa yung mga yung blanco na
Saka pwede ba?
Pinaka-importante. Yung BICAM report yung sinasabi nila na blanco.
Pwede ba?
Blanco.
Teenager pa lang ako. Ito na ang problema ng budgeting ngayon. Until now, we can't even get it right.
Diba? So, ano mangyayari dyan? Magiging invalid ba yung 2025 national budget? But in other news, the Maharlika Investment Corporation has made its first investment. Maharlika acquired a 20% stake in Synergy Grid and Development Philippines, or SGP, which in turn owns just over 40% of the National Grid Corporation or of the Philippines, or NGCP. Under the agreement, Maharlika will gain 2 board seats each at SGP and NGCP. Malacanang said the deal was a chance to regain influence over critical national infrastructure.
Yan, ito yung solution natin sa agam-agam ng mga maraming lawmakers na parang bakit predominantly foreign-owned tong NGCP, Chinese-owned ang NGCP. Now we have 2 seats. So it gives...
Actually, 4 yan. 2 for SGP and 2 for...
No, kasi holding company and the actual company. So in essence, we gain actual 2 more seats, which gives us more control over the company.
Oo. So ang tanong nga dyan, of course, ang mandate ng Maharlika Investment Fund, pinag-uusapan nga natin.
Is to earn money.
Is to earn money to get investment, diba? Para sa mga future projects ng Pilipinas. And this Maharlika kasi it's a long-term, supposedly a long-term way for the government to earn excess money. So papalaguin muna nila over a certain designated period. Before they can spend
Kasi hindi
into
ka
other
kikita,
projects.
hindi ka kikita sa dividends in just 1 year. Very
Yes.
minuscule ang dividends in 1 year. It takes decades to earn a lot.
At saka isa pang kino-concern nila dito, or kung baga, yung development na ito, 'di ba, na magkakaroon ng ilang percent ng 20% ng Maharlika dito will address also ba yung
20%
nagiging
stake.
problema ng ng NGCP, because sinasabi nila yung mga other projects na dapat ini-implement ay na-approve ng ERC within a year or so. So natatagalan, and of course yun sa mga right-of-way projects din na sinasabi nila. So will this also solve that in essence, essentially?
Alam mo, simplified, the Maharlika Investment Fund is merely an investment company. Parang it's similar to a mutual fund. They'll just give the money. And to have 2 board seats, in other words, decision-making, but wala silang operational capacity. So at the end of the day, it's still up to NGCP how their internal operations perform. Parang think of it as may kumpanya ka, may business ka, bigyan kita pera, tapos pakitain mo yan. Ganun lang ang role ng...
Ganun ang role nila.
Okay, wala silang operational role. They have 2 seats which could which is very important pagdating ng botohan. Pero we have to remember, ang board voting is only for long-term visions of the company. For year-end post-mortem tsaka strat planning for the next year. Ganun lang yun. Pero yung how to solve the issues, that's within already the organizational structure.
Pero
the
sabi
operational
naman nila
structure.
that can be done also daw.
Oo, kasi they're infusing money. Nagpapasok ng pera ang NGCP eh. So pwedeng magamit yung pera na yun as a capital expenditure or operational expenditure.
Alright.
Alright, in other news, around 80 more Filipinos in the United States are up for deportation according to the Philippine Embassy. This follows the recent deportation of 24 Filipinos due to involvement in illegal activities. Authorities are advising undocumented Filipinos to legalize their stay or voluntarily return home to avoid deportation. They are also encouraged to seek legal assistance if needed. Over 300,000 undocumented Filipinos are currently residing in the U.S.
Well, legalize your stay. Sinabi na yan. Sinabi niya, if you're ready, go home on your own para hindi kayo ma-deport. Legalize your stay. There are lawyers who can help you.
Come out in the open, di ba? And then may chance ka. Di sinasabing solid or 100%, but you still have a chance to return in the near future if you come out voluntarily. Ngayon, kung hindi ka nag-voluntarily nagpa-deport at ikaw ay nahuli, then you are blacklisted from ever going back to the United States. So, kung meron kang pangarap na bumalik legally, wala na yon kung forcefully ka na deport.
So we'll be expecting more of this actually, 'di ba? Even also from different countries, yung mga undocumented na mga nandoon sa US dahil nga doon sa policy ni US President Donald
Actually,
Trump.
madami nagsasabi sa ibang economists sa ibang mundo rin, tsaka mga ibang lawyers. They're saying maswerte ang buong mundo that the US has let this happen for the longest period since the 80s pa itong issue na ito on yung mga TNT.
TNT, naalala ko yung bata ako pinag-usapan.
Not only Pinoys, ha?
Not only Pinoys.
Madaming,
diba? That's why I said we'll be expecting more of this.
to a point, diba, na interview nilang isang cartel leader na nahuli, and he was talking about yung drug trade in cocaine, and he was saying had he known now that they could make more money from smuggling humans, dapat human smuggling nilang ginawa nila imbis na drug smuggling. Kasi ang laki ng kita ng cartel dito, yun ang gusto ipuntirya ng nitong administration, is to destroy this cartel.
Yeah. But anyway, yung ating mga yung mga kababayan natin sa USA, wag po kayong mag-atubili na kumontak sa ating US Embassy para sila ay matulungan. Alright, coming up, a private school in Quezon City is under fire for holding an allegedly unauthorized off-campus activity.
And House lawmakers criticize the implementation of the controversial comprehensive sexuality education.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Bati lang tayo na mabilis sa mga kasama natin dito sa Facebook. We have VJ, Vladimir Ponce de Leon, Ralph Domingo, Mayor Abad, Sam Pokemon Go. Also, we have Tita Daisy, Tito Naldi, and Kuya Jopet from Antipolo. Summer Cabrera, of course, Esther Abaya, and Mina Benales. Okay, later na po yung iba.
Morning. Ralph Domingo.
Okay. The implementation of the controversial Comprehensive Sexual Education, or CSC, was scrutinized by lawmakers. Here's the report.
The comprehensive sexual education is being taught to students under the Department of Education's Department Order Number 31. During the hearing of the House Committee on Basic Education and Culture, it was found that even those in kindergarten are included. Some lawmakers expressed concerns and even want to stop its implementation.
Hindi lang nila tinuturo ang body parts kasi meron ditong intimacy. Ito po clustering K to grade 3 core skills. Meron pang intimacy and reproduction. I mean, including sexual body. I mean, talaga yan ang problema
But a DepEd official insisted that it was only based on the reproductive health law and that the CSE's definition was aligned with that of UNESCO.
Bakit kinakailangan nating sundin ang Western ideology tungkol dito? Why are we not making important Filipino culture and Filipino tradition and our own religiosity? Yung mga members ng UNESCO, yung mga yan, most of them are actually atheists.
The definition of UNESCO was used in Department Order 31 and was in fact cited, but that it ends there, Your Honors. We are not implementing the UNESCO approach in its entirety, Your Honor.
Meanwhile, a data from the Philippine Statistics Authority showed that only 10% of parents are teaching their children about sexuality education.
Pero hindi po dahilan yan para tanggalin natin sa mga magulang ang karapatan nila na turuan ng mga bata. Therefore, anong dapat gawin ng gobyerno? Turuan yung mga magulang, hindi yung mga bata.
The DepEd vowed to revisit the guidelines in the implementation of the CSE.
Let's talk more about this issue with Representative Benny Abante, now joining us on the line. Congressman, thank you for joining us again.
Hi, Congressman. Kong? Nako, later. Pa-check muna natin ulit yung linya ni Congressman na Abante para mas makausap natin siya na mas maayos tungkol dito sa very controversial na anti-teenage pregnancy law. Marami sa Senate, marami nga nag-withdraw ng kanilang mga signature. Even yung one of the co-authors, si Senator Bongo, nag-withdraw ng kanyang signature para daw mas maayos nila itong bill na to. On the other hand, si Senator Risa Ontiveros has
redraft.
filed,
I think she made a redraft.
may mga amendments siya doon and parang nilinaw nila doon na wala namang susundan na international law pagdating sa pagpabibigay ng edukasyon. Ito nga ang comprehensive sexuality
Yung
or
sa UNESCO,
sexual education.
yung sa UNESCO
rather.
issue.
Oo. So yun. So alamin natin dito kay Congressman Benny Abante kung ano yung kanyang iba pang mga inputs regarding
Tsaka parang
this
sa video
issue. Is
natin.
he here?
Congressman, are you there on the line? Ayun,
Wala pa,
Tapos
oo.
Maririnig mo kanina sa video na pinag-uusapan. Andyan na. Si Congressman Benny Abante, thank you for joining us.
Congressman, we can't hear you. Kong Benny.
Yeah.
Ayun!
Yeah, Kong Benny, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Nawawala po
Opo.
Ayun, Kong Benny, we're here to talk about yung very controversial yung anti-teenage pregnancy bill, no? Can we confirm po na gusto mo daw ipatigil muna ang pag-i-implement ito if ever?
Yes. In fact, sinabi ko na sa amin yung hearing kahapon na itigil nila yung order nung 2018 pa. Order number 31. Yes.
Okay, pero ito po yung sinasabi niyo, yung mismong bill na pinag-uusapan. Hindi pa po kasi I understand that there's also provision in the reproductive health bill natin which has also CSE.
Actually, sa Senado, hindi pa nga na-approve yan
Yes.
Sa House, I think na-approve na yan for 33 days. So, nag-file ng resolution kasama ng resolution ni Congressman Rufus to recommit and reopen the bill again in the committee.
Opo. Pero paano po yung provision ng comprehensive sexual education na nasa reproductive healthcare bill natin?
Actually, we're trying to find out kung anong batayan, no? Anong batayan ng CSE? Sapagkat kung ang batayan ng CSE is the reproductive health law, ay hindi po ayon sa reproductive health law ito. Ngayon, the only thing is that ang magiging batayan po niya ng UNESCO, sapagkat ang UNESCO ang nagpalabas ng tinatawag nating comprehensive sexuality education.
Right.
And what parts of the actual bill po sa CSC ang does not sit well po with you and your fellow lawmakers po, and what would make it acceptable po sa inyo?
Una-una, yung order number 31, ang scope niyan is from kindergarten to kindergarten to what? High school, no?
Yes.
Triple, tuturuan mo yung mga kindergarten, tuturuan mo yung mga grade 3, although nagsimula sila ng grade 4, yet na-find out namin na grade 4 pa lang na hindi dapat kasama yon, no? Sapagkat 9 years old lang yan. Ang adolescent, nagsisimula ng 10 years old to 19.
Yes.
So, sabi namin, bakit 9 years old pa lang, tinuturo nyo na yung mga yan? I mean, tinuturuan sila ng contraceptives, tinuturuan sila ng ways and means to be able to avoid teenage pregnancy. Yun ang inaano ko. Sabi ko, dapat ang ituturo natin yung to avoid teenage promiscuity, because if we avoid teenage promiscuity, we avoid teenage pregnancy.
Yes.
Ang pangalawa niyan, hindi mo na maituturo yung contraceptive bills, how to use condoms, how to use all of those, how to be able to play with your thing para hindi ka maging pregnant o hindi ka makabuntis ng bata. Sabi ko, I think it is more the duty of the parents. We should never take the authority of the parents to teach our children.
But kung nakita niyo na rin po ba yung bill na inamend ni Senator Risa Ontiveros regarding this, taking into account yung mga consideration po tulad po na nabanggit ninyo, at sinasabi po nila yung sa CSE doon would be taught age appropriately. At kasama rin daw po doon yung sa mga hindi tatanggalin yung otoridad ng magulang sa pagtuturo sa mga kabataan tungkol dito.
So we'd like to find out ano yung age appropriately. Sapagkat baka mayroong mga teachers diyan na naniniwala sila that age appropriately would be about what? Grade 5 or 10 years old. Sa akin, ang age appropriately dapat ituro yan sa mga magsisimula ng senior high school yan and college, no? To me, that would be age appropriately. Sapagkat sa akin, hindi appropriate po yung ituro sa mga elementary kids.
Yes. Congressman, I heard in the video, no, you mentioned about educating the parents. Madami nagsasabi kasi this is a very important role. Unfortunately, only 10% ng mga magulang po ngayon ang may capacity or ang nagtuturo actually sa kanilang mga anak. Ano po ang mapropose nyo to enhance this and to at least not force but to at least paengganyohin ng magulang na turuan ng mga bata? Should we have more educational campaigns na geared towards training the parents?
Yes, I realize that, no. Talagang totoo 'yan. 10% lamang dapat talaga 'yan magkaroon ng partnership ang religion, lahat ng klase mga churches and education and the parents concerning this. Hindi ko alam kung bakit natin tinuturuan yung mga bata samantarang pwede naman natin turuan ng mga magulang. Palagay ko, perhaps even the parents should go back to the classroom instructions para lamang mapigilan teenage pregnancy. Palagay ko naman, if we could be able to make it mandatory for the children to study this, we could be able to make it also mandatory for the parents to come for any kind of yung bang consultation o seminar on this, sapagkat it must be the parents that must learn and must know how to treat and avoid teenage pregnancy.
Siguro additional na lang po kung doon sa, kasi sinasabi nga po nila itong teenage pregnancy sa ating bansa is somehow a national emergency already dahil talagang tumataas po talaga yung bilang ng mga kabataan na nagbubuntis at the age of 9 to 14 years old. So what else can we do kung ayaw niyo po itong bill na ito?
Katulad ng sinabi ko, that there ought to be a very close partnership between religious organizations, between the civil service society, between the parents, no, and the schools concerning this. Sapagkat naniniwala ako na ang pinaka maganda pa rin na option dito would be to teach our children moral values. Yung pa rin ang makakapag-prevent ng teenage pregnancy, yung pagturo ng moral values. For example, I'm also a bishop and I have a lot of members, no? Thousands of them. And wala kaming problema sa teenage pregnancy. Why? Because we teach them moral values. At a very young age, tinuturuan na po namin yung mga bata namin ng scriptures, ng Bible reading, ng Bible memorization, no? Kaya wala kaming problema sa teenage pregnancy. Palagay ko hindi kasagutan yung contraceptive pills, hindi kasagutan yung paggamit ng condom because you are more as telling the students na pwede naman kayong maging promiscuous sa inyong sex life without being pregnant. Gumamit lang kayo ng mga ganito. Hindi dapat yung ganun. Sabi ko, unahin natin yung moral values sa mga estudyante.
Well, Congressman, I agree with yung teaching the moral values consistently po and the role of the parents. Ang isa po natin kasi kaaway dito ang social media, which, let's face it po, matindi po ang pressure na na-exert ng social media sa mga kabataan. Isipin niyo po, every day they use it for school, they use it to relax. So every day, ang access nila is 4 to 8 hours on social media. Is there a way, Congressman, maybe a bill to help filter out yung mga unwanted videos or unwanted instructional materials na hindi karapat-dapat from children accessing them in the first place?
Totoo yun. In fact, several years ago, ay nakita na po natin ito. That's the reason why we are asking those that are yung bang talagang marunong sa social media platform that they ought to put up a wall, no, for the children not to be able to access pornographic materials in the social media, and that can happen. That can happen actually. In fact, for example, like kahit yung mga kabataan namin ng mga elementary pa, mahilig yan sa mga iPad, no? Mahilig na yan sa mga ganyan. And it is the duty of the parents to tell them, kailan kayo pwede manood ng iPad? Anong mapapanood nyo dyan? I think it is, again, parental authority ang dapat manguna dyan. Because I believe the children would listen more to the parents more than anyone that would be teaching them. Nauunawaan ko din na yun sinabi ng Popcom na yung mga nagiging pregnant, ang nakaka-pregnant yung mismong mga magulang, mismong mga relatives, no? Na mga mahatanda na, dapat yun talaga ang tinan natin at kasuhan yung mga taong yan. Hindi natin pwedeng pabayaan yung mga yan na gawin nila yung mga ganung bagay. But still, kahit na mga magulang pa ang may sanhi ng teenage pregnancy, gawin natin ang magagawa natin. Let the law enforcement agencies be the one to take care of that. But again, it is still my own advocacy na turuan natin ng moral values sa mga kabataan. Turuan natin na huwag silang maging promiscuous sa kanilang sex life, no? Yung sexuality na tinatawag nila. Hindi naman sex education na tuturo, sexuality education no? Hindi prevention dapat dito. Ang dapat talaga gawin natin dito is not only trying to prevent them from getting pregnant, but it is teaching them the evils and the sinfulness of having an immoral sex life.
Alright, sige. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was Representative Benny Abante. Thank you so much po for your time.
Thank you po. Maraming salamat po.
Okay.
Right, and other news, an ethics complaint has been filed against Laguna Representative Dan Fernandez, accusing him of violating the House of Representatives Code of Conduct. The complaint was lodged by attorney Ferdinand Topacio, legal counsel for Cassandra Ong, who has been linked to illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs. Topacio alleged that Fernandez prevented Ong from seeking legal advice during the House Quad Committee hearing. He also claimed that the lawmaker threatened to cite him in contempt if he continued communicating with his client. Fernandez, on the other hand, said he is ready to face the ethics complaint.
I think yung ethics complaint against Representative Dan Fernandez will expel him from from Congress. Pero we'll see about that.
Election na, and he's running for
governor in
Governor.
Laguna. So we'll see about that dun sa kanila magiging investigation. Kasi nga ang nirereklamo ng kampo nila, Cassandra Ong, through her legal counsel, hindi nga daw siya pinapayagan magsalita. And during that meeting, or during those hearings, if you can remember pag nanonood tayo, di ba, ayaw sumagot kasi ni Cassandra Ong. Even yung, halimbawa, tinatanong lang siya na saan siya nag-aral, sinong ganito.
I remember that. Tinatanong siya nag-aaral, tatanong sa lawyer, kumbaga parang sinasite ng mga congressmen, literal, tatanungin lang namin saan kakakain, tatanong mo sa lawyer mo. Di ba kaya may nag-joke, alam mo ba kung ano yung parang kay Alice Guo, kay Cassandra Ong, nag-joke din sila, alam mo ba yung tikoy? Parang ganun. Tapos tatanong mo ba sa lawyer mo? Parang ginanon niya.
Pala. Pero yun nga, tapos pinapakita din nila nun kasi nung time na yun, nasa likod lagi si attorney Topacio sa likod ni Cassandra Ong na may binubulong lagi. So yun yung parang sinasabi nila na wag gawin. Pero sinasabi naman ni Attorney Topacio, labag yun sa karapatan ng kanyang kliyente na mag-consult sa kanyang counsel. So, kaya sila nag-file ng
I remember sinabi kasi ni Congressman Dan Fernandez that the role of the lawyers to advise the client on legal repercussions sa sagot niya, but not to advise kung ano isasagot. Kaya yun ang kinapiko ng Quad Committee. Parang tinuturoan mo na ata every time kung ano sasagutin mo eh. Ang nandyan ka to tell kung ano yung mangyayari sa'yo kung sinagot mo to o hindi. Hindi para turuan ng kliyente mo kung ano yung sasagutin nila. I remember that yung hearing na yun eh. Napikon siya kay Attorney Topacio.
Tingnan natin kung ano yung magiging kalalabasan ng hearing na yan. But for the meantime, in other news, the Commission on Higher Education issues a show cause order against Besling College of the Philippines. This comes after the school held an unauthorized off-campus activity without the required documents. The school celebrated its founding anniversary at a resort in Bataan on January 26. CHED said they also instructed their NCR office if the school required its students to pay for the event while providing inadequate transportation and safety measures. Now, according to some accounts, students waited up to 6 hours just to board buses to the venue. Oo, kasi parang yung story niyan is, yun nga, nag-founding anniversary, they were required to pay for the trip.
Pero hindi maayos.
Hindi maayos. Pagdating nila doon sa Bataan, resort in Bataan, parang they were asked na lang to parang talk to the dun sa tawag doon yung sa lobby, 'di ba? To arrange their own accommodations.
Wow.
Which is in fact, 'di ba, kapag may mga ganyan na
dapat the school has prepared everything.
'Di ba sila na lahat ang nag-asikaso para pagdating doon. Tsaka mga bata to pinag-uusapan natin, 'di ba? Minors pa rin sila kahit college na sila if I'm not mistaken. Tapos
you still have
after
to if it's your event, you have to arrange or make it clear sa simula pa lang. We will not arrange this for you, pero kausapin niyo na yung
Pero yun nga, labag daw yun kasi may mga requirements pa sila, mga documents na hindi nila ginawa according sa CHED. Tapos after nun, when they got there after the event, gabi na natapos, so sobrang dami nila, the buses that were parked somewhere, so they had to walk mga about 4 kilometers.
Ito yung video nakikita nyo, naglalakad yung mga students.
Meron pang video yan, yung gabing-gabi na madilim na eh. Kasi parang sinabi nga nila, parang death march na ba kasi nasa Bataan sila. Oo, para makaabot sila dun sa mga bus sila. Iba-iba. Umabot ng gabi yan, nakita ko may video na madilim pa. So, yun yung kanilang nirereklamo dyan. So, ngayon, ang CHED naman has issued yun nga, as I've said kanina dun sa ating report, show cause order, para makapag-explain ang Besling College ng kanilang ng kanilang side, bakit ganito yung nangyari, ba't hindi sila nag-secure ng proper permits or requirements that was being required for them to do, diba? Tapos, of course, apparently pala, when I was checking the report, nung 2017, itong Besting College, nagkaroon na rin pala sila ng parang ganitong insidente, na nagkaroon ng field trip, pero nung time na yon, ng 2017 na yon, nagkaroon ng aksidente. 15 died and others were injured. That's why, nag-issue ng moratorium ng CHED sa mga field trip nitong school na to. And apparently, they lifted it the same year. So, parang
pero this time,
merong history na sila ng ganyan.
this time around, may issue ng additional payments made. Dapat kasi yung mga iba built-in sa tuition yan eh. Pag may additional, like, dapat clearly explained ano yung kasama sa additional.
Tsaka dapat safety ng mga bata yan.
Medyo naguluhan kasi ata daw yung mga ibang, I saw some posts na naguluhan ata sila. Sa ano ba, may mag-check-in ba, overnight ba, di ba? So, uy.
Ayun. So
May narinig
anyway,
akong
Chinese New Year kasi.
Oo, Dragon Dance. So, anyway.
So, ayun. So, tingnan natin kung ano yung magiging explanation ng eskwelahan na yan versus dun sa mga naging accounts ng mga students. Alright, in other news as well, Senator Raffy Tulfo wants to put up a police outpost along Marilaki Highway in Tanay, Rizal following several fatal accidents. Now, during a hearing, Tulfo expressed frustration over the lack of safety measures in the highway's accident-prone areas. He gave the police 5 working days to set up an outpost. Tulfo also called on the Department of Public Works and Highways to take swift action on road safety measures along the Marilaki Highway.
Okay, so General, I'll give you 5 working days. Linis yung problema yan. Otherwise, babalikan kita on air. Hindi lang dito pati sa radyo ko. Babatikusin kita left and right kasama ng chief PNP mo.
It's a curved road, Your Honor, as
Yes.
I'm aware from the videos that I see from social media. There are now rumble strips that are installed.
Alam mo yung Marilaki Highway na it's very popular because it's a good scenic route for mga hobbyists na mga motorcycle riders and groups. Ang problema kasi that
Then sila
curve,
nagpipicture-picture pa eh, di ba?
ang curve ng ano na yan is very similar to that of a U-turn. So medyo blind ang pagkayo niya, tsaka
Ayan.
malapad, no? Ang problema, ang daming humahataw sa side na yan because malapad yung kalye. So kala nila clear sila. Ayan, tignan mo yung video na yan.
Oh my.
Minsan kasi nagkakarera pa sila dyan.
Ito nga yung recent accident due to race eh.
Tsaka nakikita nyo sa kaliwat kanan ng side ng highway, no? Bakit madaming tao dyan? Kasi madaming, ano dyan social content creators na naghahintay na accident. Para
Talaga?
kunin.
Kinukuha nila? Talaga ba? They do that?
Napunterian na yan nun.
Okay, so tingnan natin kung anong gagawin nila because they were given ni Senator Raffy Tulfo daw 5 days para magtayo sila ng outpost dyan. Okay,
sorry.
Okay.
Nasabit ako.
Alright, don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Now, Malacanang confirms that President Bongbong Marcos has granted executive clemency to former Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin said this was in view of Mabilog's long-standing commitment to good governance. The clemency is in connection with Mabilog's administrative case. The issue stemmed from his alleged questionable wealth worth nearly 9 million pesos. Recall that Mabilog was also dismissed by the Ombudsman after finding him guilty of serious dishonesty. Yan, siya yung natatag din kasi doon sa sa bloody Dragon Wars.
Di ba siya yung umiyak sa natakot siya?
Oo. Ayan, umiiyak siya.
Tapos tinawagan siya ni then PNP Chief Bato de la Rosa saying na pumunta ka dito, ayusin natin, tapos may tumawag daw sa kanyang general after at sinabi sa kanya huwag ka pupunta dito dahil pipilitin ka daw ipangalan ng isang opposition politician.
Yeah. So ito nga sinasabi niya sinasabi niya upon his return to the country in September last year, sinabi niya sa House Quad Committee report o yung nung hearing noon na merong scheme daw allegedly to force him to link former senators Mar Rojas and Franklin Drilon dun sa illegal drug
Kasi
trade.
if not daw, parang sabi ng unknown source, parang may mangyayaring masama sa kanya at sa family niya. So natakot siya.
Ayun. So, actually, he expressed nga yung willingness niya na, kunyari, kung tanungin siya for the ICC, di ba, yung sa war on drugs dito sa Pilipinas.
To testify.
To testify. Willing daw siya.
Dito mo na makikita yung mga moves nitong administration that it's very opposite already to the PRRD admin. Kasi you had Laila de Lima also.
Yes. Well, on the other hand, sinasabi nga ni Senator Bato de la Rosa in one of his interviews na nakita ko na parang price kay Mayor Mabilog. That's his opinion. Alright.
In other news, the wife of a Chinese national recently arrested on allegations of espionage has spoken up to defend her husband. Nomi Deng, wife of Deng Yuangin, denied accusations that her husband is a spy. She said that her husband is working on surveying roads for self-driving car technology. Deng also expressed concern about the impact of the allegations on their family, particularly on their child.
Hindi ko po alam kung ano po yung tamang term na gagamitin para sa trabaho niya po. Basta nagtitest sila ng daan para doon sa carless by driverless po. Opo, self-driving. Mahigit 10 years na po siya dito. May anak po kami, 8 years old. Natatakot pa ako sa kahihinat na ng anak ko sa school. Dahil sa media na lumalabas na spy yung daddy niya.
So currently, ang pangalan si Deng is being represented by Attorney Ferdinand Topacio at binabakapan din siya ni Teresita Angli.
Yan ang mahirap kasi nito hindi pa 100%.
Yeah.
Sabihin mo 90% sure ang government na spy ito, pero hindi ka pa 100%. Wag mo muna i-release yung name kasi yung bata daw, yung anak
Kawawa
na
naman,
nasuntok daw sa ulo yan ilang beses iniinsulto yung parang umalis na kayo. So okay, I understand that maybe you have hard evidence pointing, but di ba hindi pa naman dumaan sa court of law to. Daanin niyo muna sa proper channels bago kayo maglabas sa media.
At saka may allegations kasi sa PNP na sinasabi nila na hindi daw binigyan ng consular access itong allegedly Chinese spy, tapos parang meron pang sapakan o sinampal na incident.
Naman yung
meron hindi din daw pinayagan mag-post ng bail. Pero let's see, tingnan natin kung ano yung sasabihin ng PNP kasi all sides all the time naman tayo. But for the meantime, let's get updates on the preparations for the Chinese New Year.
Yes.
We have mobile journal Ivan Tarinque joining us via Zoom. Hey Ivan, kumusta dyan?
Diego, Angela,
nasaan ka ba?
Bago yung talagang sign New Year, talaga may kita nyo, dagsana yung mga tao. Actually, marami na yung mga taong nag-iikot-ikot dito sa Binondo ngayong umaga. Kanina, nakausap natin yung ilan sa kanila. And sabi nila, ngayong araw, yung iba ngayong araw, talaga pupunta para mamili ng kanilang mga lucky charms at ng mga ilang mga prutas dahil bukas, expected nga daw nila, ay mas marami ng tao at baka hindi na sila halos makagalaw dito.
Evan, specifically, where are you? Tsaka ano yung mga activities nangyayari starting sa gabi all the way till tomorrow? Usually, ano ba nangyayari on a regular Chinese New Year?
Yes, Diego, actually nandito tayo ngayon sa may Ongping Street. No, ikot ko na lang kayo para bigyan natin ng konting background kung ano na yung nangyayari ngayong umaga. So makikita natin maraming tao pero hindi pa ganoon ka-crowded yung kalsada dahil bukas expected na katulad na every year, no, every Chinese New Year, talaga itong mga daanan na to ay hindi halos madaanan. No? So, festivities dito no, sa Binondo noong Friday kung saan niya binuksan o inlawan itong Prosperity Tree sa may Plaza San Lorenzo Ruiz. No? And mamayang alas 8 hanggang mamayang 11 p.m. no, magkakaroon naman ng countdown sa may Jones Briggs. No? At tuloy yung celebration hanggang actually bukas. No? Hanggang bukas kung saan nga talagang pinagdiriwang yung Chinese New Year, kung saan magkakaroon naman ng Golden Parade, no? Kung saan makikita yung mga traditional lion dance, mga floats, at mga cultural performances na magsisimula dito sa may old office. No? So kung makikita natin ngayon, Diego, Angela, maraming tao. Pero sa ngayon may mga sasakyan pang nakakadaan, pero bukas hindi na sila allowed at marami rin mga superheroes.
Ayun,
na
It's Spider-Man, no?
nagpapaikot-ikot, si Spider-Man, si Batman, si Deadpool, at andun pa yung ating paboritong characters from Toy Story.
Evan, ang cute naman. Evan, ano tawag dito? You mentioned kasi bukas pa ipagbabawal ang mga kotse na dumaan. In light of this mga road closures, pwede ba mag-park ang mga kababayan natin na gusto makisaya sa Chinese New Year dyan sa Chinatown?
Yes, Diego, actually marami ng sasakyan. Kanina nga, pahirapan na yung paghahanap ng parking. No? As of this morning, no, explain na rin natin kung ano ba yung mga daan na sarado simula bukas. No? Unang-una, yung mga pwedeng mga daanan. Tomorrow ay, yung mga sarado palang daanan simula mamayang gabi hanggang bukas ay yung kahabaan ng Quintin Paredes Street, no? Yung Jones Bridge, yung both north and south, mamayang 9 p.m. sarado na yan. Yung Plaza Cervantes, simula kayo ng umaga, sarado na yan. Yung Plaza Cervantes, mamaya rin pala magkasarado yan. At yung Binondo, Intramuros Street, no? Yun, yung kaninang madaling araw ay sarado na, no? Yung mga alternate routes naman na pwedeng daanan ng ating mga kapatid na gustong pumunta dito sa Binondo, no? Yung mga galing from Ipon or yung galing Taft Avenue ay pwedeng gamitin yung MacArthur Bridge or yung Quezon Bridge papunta sa kanilang destination, o yung mga galing naman sa may Plaza Santa Cruz ay pwedeng gamitin itong Quintin Paredes Street at Quintin Paredes Street papunta sa kanilang destination naman, yung mga galing naman from Magallanes Drive papunta sa Binondo Intramuros ay pwedeng dumiretso sa Soriano Avenue hanggang sa Anda Circle at kung saan man yung kanilang transport. So ngayon pa lang, Diego, Angela, kanina na yung mga kapatid natin yung kanilang ruta dahil bukas expected ay mas mabigat yung mga dami ng traffic sa paligid ng Binondo.
Oo, Evan, nakita ko kanina nung lumilibot ka dun sa mga gilid-gilid dyan, maraming mga paninda, may mga parang gold and red yun. Ano-ano ba yun? At saka ano-ano ba yung mga dapat bilhin ngayon ng mga kapatid natin para daw sa pampaswerte ng Year of the Snake?
Okay, Angela, ito malapit tayo dito. So punta natin isang tindahan dito na nagbibenta ng mga hanging Lucky Charms. So, ito yung mabenta ngayon na Lucky Charms. Tayo, magkano yung benta sa mga hanging Lucky Charms na ganito? 35 pesos isang piraso. No, ang mabenta ngayon yung may bugis ahas. No, dahil Year of the Wooden Snake. No? Saka isa pa, Angela, yung mabenta rin yung mga ganito, yung mga palay. No, itong palay daw ay nagsimbolo ng prosperity. No, ang bentahan naman dito 35 isa or 3 or 100, no? Tapos sa kabila naman, may mga prutas din na ibinibenta, no? Gaya nitong mga luya. Itong mga luya at pala itong mga dalandan, magpapaswerte rin yan, no? So madalas itong luya, nasa 100 to 150 to 200 pesos. Tama, kuya? Yung presyo ng mga lucky luya na ito, no? So yan yung mga madalas na binibenta sa kahabaan ng Ongping Street. Pero pag diniretso mo doon sa may mga tindahan, talaga ay mas marami pang mga lucky charms na pwedeng mabili. No? Yun yung may mga golden, yun yung medyo may malalaki na, yung may mga prosperity basket na nasa 3,500 to 4,000 pesos yung isang piraso. No? Pero kompleto na yon, kasama na doon yung ilang pang mga charms na ilalagay sa loob. Ang hindi lang kasama doon sa prosperity basket na mabibili ay yung bigas na inilalagay dito.
Antayin na lang namin kay Evan yung paampaw ni
Teka
Evan
lang,
sa atin.
Evan, may nakita ko, nadaanan mo kanina dyan, yung sikat na bentahan ng Hopi at Tikoy. Bilhin mo kami niyan, ha?
Ako yung ampaw gusto ko,
Ako, okay
May
na.
laman,
Hopi ang ube, bawal ako sa munggo, eh. Sige, ingat ka, and thank you for those updates. That was Mobile Journal Evan Tarinque.
Medyo maaga-aga pa pero marami-rami na yung tao. But of course, importante na makita yung, masiguro yung security doon sa area.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to some other news. Re-electionist Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong lays down his plans for the tourism hotspot.
Enjoying yung panahon. Kamusta ba ang lamig sa Baguio City po ngayon?
Yeah, okay. Average namin ngayon is 14.
He tells it all in an exclusive interview with 1PH anchor Cheryl Cosim. Magalong, for one, plans to roll out a smart mobility project with Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation. The mayor also said he supports the proposals for cable car as an alternative mode of transport. Catch the long take here on One News on Thursday at 6:15 in the evening.
Alright, that's long take.
Long take with the mayor, Benjamin Magalong. And thank you for joining us for another day of brunch. And before we go, I'd like to leave everyone with a quote to start our day right. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. One more time.
Try.
From Thomas Edison.
Until you succeed.
And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And he is Angelo Castro III.
We are One News. All sides, all the time.